Welcome back, Shalligators. Ugh, fine. I started watching The Ultimatum. Sometimes I hate my job because if I had literally any job other than this one on planet Earth, I would not have to watch this show. And I am begging you, please don't make me watch the whole thing. Please. So look, I managed to get through kind of one episode. We're going to talk about ultimatums. We're going to talk about truly the effectiveness of telling someone, put up or shut up. Is there a better way to issue an ultimatum that's going to lead to the outcomes you want? And we're going to be breaking down some of these couples and not even, I mean, yes, the individual couples a little bit, but actually more, I see a pattern throughout all these couples that actually the ones issuing the ultimatums are the ones who are the most unsure about the relationship. Oh yeah, that's true. Is an ultimatum actually not the result of you knowing like you know that you want a relationship, you want this marriage, you want to marry this man? Can it actually mean the opposite, that you don't know? What? I'm going to tell you, based on what science says, we're going to read a little bit from a doctor who wrote a very interesting paper about this show and about ultimatums in general. And I'm going to tell you when I issued an ultimatum and why it ended in divorce. Okay, but before we get started, we are going to Italy again. Yes, Shalligators. Our first Italy trip this fall sold out in like a matter of hours. So of course, I'm going to offer you another one. We are going to Italy November 2nd through 8th. That's a week. We're going to Florence and Rome. It is going to be so much fun. I've lived in both of these cities. They are so near and dear to me. I know more about them than anyone should, and then it's ever going to be useful in any dimension of time or space. We have, I believe, 9 spaces left. The trip is already half sold out. So please sign up ASAP. You can be a girl, you can be a gay, you can be from any country in the world. You also can be any age. I really wanted to mention that like, I think on our first Italy trip, the oldest Shalligator we have is 50 and the youngest is 22. And so it's like, this is for everyone. It's just anybody who wants to come and meet some friends and branch out. And I've always noticed a correlation of girls who come on my trips who are at some sort of kind of like pivotal point in their life. Maybe they've just moved in with a boyfriend. Maybe they've just gotten divorced. Maybe they have just graduated or decided to change careers. But it always seems like they're in a state of like, just a little bit of pulling back and being like, okay, what do I want out of my life? You know, a little bit of revision. And it's Easter today. And what better theme is there for Easter than resurrection and rebirth? And actually, if you're interested in Easter and like the origins of Easter, because it is a pagan / Sumerian / Germanic holiday, it is actually not a Christian holiday originally. It's rebranded for the big JC. Go to my Instagram stories. I'm explaining it all right now. And it's actually really interesting. And you know, I love geeky stuff like this. And if you do too, you're definitely going to want to come with me to Italy. So go ahead and click the link in the bio. Okay, these fuckers on the ultimatum. Oh God. Just, you guys. All right. Okay. First of all, how much does Madeline suck? Just her face right there. I'm like, I don't like you. Colby is, I don't know, approximately 4'8", but he seems really sweet and like, he's hot. Like he's a smoke. I'd give him a shot. And he's like a cowboy. Yeah. Come on over here, baby boy. And she's very ambivalent. And it's like, are you? You think you could do better? Okay. What, with that haircut you gave yourself? No, I got it. I got it. Cool. You decided to put on lip balm, got real dressed up. Okay. I don't understand. I don't understand. She seems really annoying. But if you guys watched the reunion, if you've watched this whole show, and I have not, and please don't make me. Please don't make me. If you watch the reunion, and here's a spoiler. Do you want to take a second to like mute your thing? It's probably right down there. Just mute it. Just the earmuffs. Okay, are you ready? She's fucking pregnant. So yeah, they're like completely all in and she's like 8 months pregnant with a daughter and we're like, what? I know, so weird. You definitely didn't think that, but I don't know. I actually got like lesbian vibes from her. I don't think she seems super straight to me. Like I can't imagine her being really into like any guy. She just seems sort of asexual. I don't know. Nothing wrong with being a lesbian. There's a lot wrong with being a lesbian and trying to marry a man. Don't be a gay person dating a straight person. It's shitty. Don't do that. I don't think, it's like Colton Underwood, that trick bitch. oh, his journey of discovery. You've been fucking men for years and you decide to go on a show to lead 25 women down the garden path and break their heart and gaslight them for weeks on end? Fuck you, Colton. No, nobody's proud of you. And no, you're not brave at all. You're a narcissist and you're a sociopath. I wish nothing but the worst for you. I hope you do get married without a prenup and I hope he annihilates you. Bon chance, mon ami. Okay, back to the ultimatum. Sorry. There are some couples on there who I think are really cute, like Shanique and Randall. Very cute. Randall seems really smart and his hesitation for getting married makes a lot of sense. He's like, I think you need to be really financially stable. I'm trying to pay off some debt. And he said something very interesting. He's like, Shanique, her idea of marriage doesn't seem to get past the wedding. Like she's picturing like wedding, big wedding, big wedding. I'm a bride tribe. And he basically intimated like she doesn't really have any idea what marriage entails. Your wedding is a day. Your marriage is for the rest of your life. I know, because I've been there. Okay? And again, ladies, you know what? We talk about this a lot, what society conditions us to do. Society conditions us to dream about that big wedding. It's like, I've thought about my wedding day since I was a little girl. I didn't. I was writing my Oscars acceptance speech when I was 6. I wasn't planning a wedding. Right? I mean, like if I'm going to localize on one day of my life, it's going to be the day I take home Best Actress, not the day I get married. But for a lot of us, that's not the case. I mean, every place we look, you go into TJ Maxx or Home Goods, everything white that you're like, oh, that's cute. Bride tribe. Okay. Well, great. That white pillow. Oh, like I love us. Slay all day, then bridal, rosé, whatever. I mean, it is all around us, this bride obsession, the obsession with marriage and weddings. And who doesn't think a wedding would be fun? I mean, actually, I say that. I never really thought it would be fun. Like, it's fun to get dressed up and it's fun to have a cake. Who doesn't love cake? I do. It's fun to feel like a princess. But again, have these people thought about what's on the other side of this? Maybe, maybe not. The girl, like, it's Zay and Ray. Are those their names? Are those really Ray Zay? Yeah. Again, Zay, is that his name? I feel like I'm not saying this right. Zay? Yeah. Okay. He seems very, like, and at first when I saw all these couples, I assumed it was going to be a girl who's like really got her life together, you know, older. I assumed these people were going to be in their 30s, that there was some sort of fertility clock winding down, that these people had maybe been living together for 5 years or something. And it's like, okay, dude, because that was Nick and Vanessa Lachey. That was their deal. And she's talked about that. She's like, we'd been dating for 5 years. I had moved in. I'd renovated his house. So it's like, what are we doing? That to me is a more logical time to issue an ultimatum. We're going to talk about, notice I said logical time, not why it makes sense to issue an ultimatum. Just hold your horses. These people on the show, like who's the one girl? She's 23. Dude, come on. You're 23 and you're like, why do I have this big SUV with no babies in the back? I don't know, because you're fucking 23. I always thought it was supposed to be you graduate college, then you get married, then you have babies. What timeline is that? You thought, I feel like I'm all over the place on this because this whole issue makes me so insane. Like I just want to throw things at my screen and tear my hair out. Let's go back to Tay and Zay. Is that her name? Tay? I don't even care. Ray and Zay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I thought this was going to be like stable girls and the fuck boys they're trying to turn into a housewife, right? The hoes into the housewife. I didn't see a lot of that. And granted, I only watched one episode. I'm sure there's a lot of fuckboyness to be had. I know, and I'm sure there's a lot of gaslighting. No, I'm not that into her. Do you want to go anywhere in the world with me? Yeah, I saw that. But Zay had a pretty good argument to his girlfriend, which was, you know, when I could talk about you forever and I talk about why I love you and everything about your personality. And basically he was like, when you talk about me, you talk about me like as like I'm filling a role. Like I see you as a husband. You're a husband. It's like, well, talk about me, the person, not just, well, you're here and I want a husband. So now casting for the role of my husband, your ass. And how could you possibly expect a human being to respond when they feel like a seat filler? When it's like, I could be anybody. You just need a spouse. And I just happen to be the one who's here. And even in like her little interview, it was like, why do you want to marry him? And she wouldn't answer the question. So again, are the people issuing the ultimatums the ones who really know their own mind? Maybe not. That chick Alexis, what is that face? I'm not trying to like face bully someone, but like, what's going on here? Is this makeup? Do you know how much makeup you have to wear on camera to look like you're wearing a lot of makeup? I look in real life right now, this is like, I know you guys don't think of me as like the makeup girl. She's wearing all this makeup. In real life, I look like a drag queen. Like if I go to the grocery store, people are like, damn, where's she going? Now, granted, I live in Montana, so I have 2 eyebrows and that makes me kind of a standout amongst the women here. And no mustache either. And I'm not wearing a beanie out to a bar and Carhartt overalls. The ugliest women in the world live in Montana. I am sorry. If you're one of them, if you're on my channel, you're not one of them. Holy shit. And by the way, hi to the Shalligator Lexi, who I saw at the Crystal the other night. Hi, girl. You're definitely not one of them. Like, you're a cutie who knows how to dress, but you know the girls I mean. Like the girls who go to the Hoff. You know the girls I mean. Just, oh, is that your formal beanie? Are those your fancy Crocs? Are those your getting laid Hanes? Okay. Yeah, that girl Alexis, she also doesn't seem to have much of an idea of what marriage is, because I think the story she told about her boyfriend, whatever his name is, I don't care, was like, well, the first trip we went on together, like that's when I knew, because he was very patient and he let me run the show. That's how you describe the love of your life? Really? Like, they're slavish and obedient. I like that. He just completely capitulated and had no real free will of his own. Got it. Got it. And you wonder why this man isn't sure about committing to you. Do you think that's a flattering thing to hear? And I think it was very interesting. You know, he told her outwardly, I'm not ready for marriage. And then 2 seconds later, the camera, well, if I found the right person, yeah, I'd be ready. And like, fuck him, because he needs to go to her and be like, it's not marriage, it is you. Did you ever see When Harry Met Sally? Oh, I remember I studied communication in college, and we took a gender and studies class, or a gender and communication class, and about how the different genders communicate. It was like so incredibly helpful. It really set the stage for this career I have. But we would watch movies. We would watch rom-coms and pick them apart. And one of them was When Harry Met Sally. And it was just so interesting. Like, I always go back to the scene where she's crying and Harry comes over and her ex, who had always said he never wanted to get married, is suddenly engaged to his secretary. And she said, it's not that he didn't want to get married, it's that he didn't want to marry me. Right? Have we not all been there? Have we not all been there? The guy who's like, oh, well, we broke up because he's just like going through a lot and like he's really stressed and everything. Boom. Next time we turn around, who the fuck is that bitch on his grid? Who? What? And it's horrifying when we have that When Harry Met Sally moment. It's like, no, he was fine with marriage. He didn't want to marry me. But you know what? We've all been on the flip side where we give that excuse to a guy, you know, I'm just not ready for anything. 2 months later, we're in love with someone. It's like, no, I just wasn't ready for something with you. And we have the obligation, yeah, here we go again with the bangs. We have the obligation to be honest with ourselves when we tell a partner this and not gaslight them and not hand them this big sack of bullshit. But we also have the obligation, the duty, to read between the lines when we hear stuff. Human beings are going to go out of their way to do whatever they can to avoid saying the words, I'm just not that into you. It's not a me thing. It's not logistics. It's not timing. It's not my schedule. It is in fact you. So I'm sorry. But if it's not a hell yes, I want to marry you. Fuck yeah, let's do this. We have to take it as a hell no. There are no shades of gray. But when we are not ourselves aware of that, when we cannot see that, and when we're making excuses for someone or buying the bullshit excuses they're giving us, ironically, it leads us to this place of yes or no, black or white, marry me or move on. It leads to ultimatums. So why was I saying, are the people who want a marriage, are they the most unsure? Well, we know, well, maybe we don't, but I'm telling you, psychologically, someone who's issuing an ultimatum is not doing that from a place of strength. They're not. They're doing that from a place of insecurity, because chances are, for a long time, they have felt unwanted, unpicked, and insecure about where this relationship is going. If you have a partner who is 100% all in, always making you feel good, do you have a reason to issue an ultimatum? You might be saying, well, yes. I mean, everything's great. He's committed. We live together. He's not fucking other girls. He's not talking about it. He's not going out and drinking, but he's also not taking the next step. Let us speak for a minute about this, because there's no point in talking about whether or not ultimatums work if you don't really even understand what it is you're after, right? Like, why are we building a machine if we're not really sure what it's supposed to do? What is the point? What's the point here? Well, Shallon, no, I know what I want it to do, and so does every girl and guy on this show who's issuing the ultimatum. They want to get married. Why? Well, because that's important to them. Why? I'm not here to talk you out of what you want. I've always said, whatever you want is fine. Whatever you want. If you want to fuck everyone in your small town, girl, do it. Use a condom, get an IUD, but go do it, right? If you want to be married by 22 and have 10 babies and be a Mormon housewife, good for you. But are you actually sure that that's what you want? Now, when I say, why? Why are they issuing this ultimatum? Why do they need to get married? You know what the answer is that I'm not hearing, that you're probably not saying, that none of these people are saying? I need to feel reassured. Aha! Now we go back to what I just said. The people who are issuing these are actually not coming from a place of being super short. They're coming from a place of insecurity. Well, Shallon, of course they're insecure. They know that they want this other person, but they're insecure because they don't know if they're being wanted back. I mean, that could be true. That could be true. But I'll tell you what my experience was like with an ultimatum. I didn't 100% give my ex-husband an ultimatum, but I gave him enough of one. And it's tough because in this video, we're going to talk about how to issue like a soft ultimatum and how to speak your truth without having it come across basically as a threat, which is what an ultimatum is. It's a truth with a threat, right? It's a decision with a threat. And I'm not opposed to issuing threats. I mean, threats are all over the place. If you don't pay for this, then we're going to arrest you. If you don't slow down for that stop sign, you're also going to get arrested. There are a lot of arrest-based threats, but threats are how society functions. If you don't turn in your homework, I'm going to fail you. That's essentially an ultimatum. And you're not like, you're infringing on my rights. You're like, well, this is how the world works. Should we as human beings be operating much differently? Is it absurd for us to say, no, if you do X, then the consequence is Y? No, that's not absurd, but we have to understand if it's coming from a decent place, if it's coming from a place that actually makes sense to us. I am off topic. So yeah, I issued something along the lines of an ultimatum to my ex-husband. I, of course, didn't see it that way. And I am not surprised he did, because it wasn't not an ultimatum. I have cited the statistic many times to you guys, and maybe you remember it, maybe you don't, that when two people move in together, they have an 85% chance of getting married. 85. At exactly a year and a half, if they're not engaged or married or taking a very serious step in that direction, I mean, there's really only one step, engaged, right? It drops down to 11%. You ever have those friends who've been living with someone for like 12 years? I think we'll get married. I mean, you have an 11% or less chance. I mean, I'm sure that's a diminishing statistic as time goes on, right? That was just how they captured it at 18 months, not 18 years. I mean, you have an 11% chance. Am I a betting woman? Not really. And that's not a bet I would take. You know, statistically, the odds actually are not in your favor. And I told that to my husband because we had been living together for like a year, like a little over a year. And I didn't know where we were going. In hindsight, there was not one piece of data that indicated my husband, my boyfriend at the time, was not all in on our relationship. Not one. He was 1 billion% devoted to me. 1 billion. But I told myself, you know what? I thought guys were devoted to me before, and I got fucking blindsided. Okay? I got ghosted. I got dumped. Shallon. In hindsight, no, that's not true. There were plenty of signs that a guy wasn't all in. There were plenty of gaps in which I was filling excuses, I'm sorry's that they never issued. They weren't sorry. They weren't making excuses. I was doing all that for them. There was plenty of data that this was actually going to go real bad based on how they behaved, their history, the words they were telling me, their patterns of behavior. Really? I didn't see it coming? No, I fucking didn't. And who did I punish for that? My completely wonderful, devoted boyfriend. Great job. But I said, look, you know, at 1.5 years, if we're not engaged, I'm going to maybe be rethinking some stuff. Like stats, I'm a very mathematical person. I don't seem like I am, but I am. Like statistically, that's not really a bet I want to take. I don't know if you're all in. Guess who wasn't the one who was all in? Me. I wasn't the one who was all in. And unlike some of these people that we see on the show, or unlike some people you know, or like yourself, it wasn't because I was with a partner who was making me feel unpicked, unchosen, unwanted. That wasn't it. And I look at some of the people on this show, like Ray and Zay, he seems completely devoted to her. Like he's like, this is my first relationship. He was very honest about that. I don't really have an idea of what marriage entails. I kind of don't think you do either. But at least I'm acknowledging I don't know what I don't know. But I do acknowledge, like, I love you and I want to talk to you and open up to me and stop stonewalling me. Right? I think it's difficult for her to make the argument he's not all in with her. He's young and I don't know how all in he's capable of being, but I don't know, he seems pretty darn devoted to her. Right? Same with Randall and Shanique. Is that right? Shanique? I'm too lazy to look it up. But Randall also seems devoted to her, but like cautious about taking the next step, logical about that. Like, okay. So I wasn't the one who was all in. And I needed someone. I was basically engineering this dynamic where he was begging me to be more all in. Does that make sense? Like, if you propose to me, then I see this great demonstration of devotion, this incredibly expensive $80,000 ring. It's huge. And that will somehow propel me to be all in. I need you to like chase me so that I can get caught and then be all into this. What kind of asshole would do something like that? Well, this one did it. He was all in. He was so devoted to me. And I needed more. I needed something more to try to convince me to be more all in. Why wasn't I all in? I just wasn't ready. And I wish I had had the fortitude and the self-awareness and the bravery to be like, I'm just not there. I'm not ready to live with someone. I'm not ready to settle down. I got a wild hair still, you know? I'm hellbound and whiskey bent. But I didn't. And I was a grown-up, 6-figure job, working on my own, running a business. So I look at these 23-year-olds in this show and I have a really hard time believing they know something that I didn't at that age. I'm sorry, like, I don't think so. So let's talk about why exactly ultimatums don't work. So they are part of the 4 horsemen of divorce. You know what that is? So this psychologist, John Gottman, he came up with what he calls the 4 horsemen. It's like, you know, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I don't know who they are, but there's the 4 horsemen of an unhealthy relationship that are incredibly strong predictors of divorce. They're criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Criticism, contempt, eye rolling means contempt. It's like, ugh. Like, I don't respect you. Here we go again. Oh, you're bringing it up again. And this is how they go. Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling, shutting down. The girl who's like, I don't want to talk about that question. Why do I want to marry? I don't want to answer that. Stonewalling. She also got defensive When Zay was asking her to open up, she got defensive. You got the 4 horsemen right there, baby girl. Good fucking luck. I don't know how the relationship turned out. Tell me in the comments, but pretty bad. Why is this so bad? Okay. This is from an article on the show, actually, by Lindsay Weisner. She's a psychologist. It's not a great article, but it's okay. She calls an ultimatum a demand followed by a threat. Now, yeah, we just said a lot of the world works on demands followed by threat. I demand you pay for this or I will threaten you with arrest. Got it. That seems reasonable. The problem is that this tells your partner your love is actually not unconditional. Now, hold on here. I am not a fan of unconditional love. Why the fuck would my love be unconditional? You need to earn your place in my life constantly. Unconditional love is only for pets. Only for pets. I will love Cowboy forever no matter what he chews up of my pair of Stuart Weitzman heels. Motherfucker. I will love him forever though. A human? No, I'm not gonna love. I'm gonna love you unconditionally. You call my mom a hoe, you steal my money, you push my best friend over, you kick my dog, you think I'm still gonna love you? Fuck you. No way. No way. My love has a million strings attached, as it should. My respect, my schedule, my time, my hoo-ha, all of that stuff. You gotta earn constant access over and over again. And I should always have to earn access to you. I don't want you to love me unconditionally. You know what a monster that would make me? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is love any different? But if you're dealing with a partner who's a little bit ambivalent and you say, if you don't do this, I'm going to walk away, they're going to get the message, well, she doesn't love me unconditionally. Is this a bad thing? I mean, this is the tough part about these kinds of things. This is why there's a show about it. This is why there's books and articles about it. This is why we're doing a video. There isn't one side of the fence that's completely right or completely wrong. I want to go back real quick to the question I asked. Why? Why do you want to get married? I saw an unmistakable correlation between these people asking for ultimatums, being kind of losers, and demanding marriage. And okay, I'm going to focus on the chicks. I'm sorry, girls. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your neck. These women were young, not a ton going on in their life that I could discern. Maybe it comes out later that, oh, they're an architect, they're a software engineer. Ah. They didn't present that way. They seemed to not really know the next step in their life. So it's going to be marriage. Do you know how many chicks I know who did that? The entirety of my sorority. Seriously, almost the entirety of my sorority got married right out of college. And guess who's happy? Literally one couple. I'm not saying they're all divorced. That would be, I think, better. Like, I celebrate a divorce, not because, ooh, down with love, but because, hey, people were unhappy and they're changing it. Life is short, man. Go for it. Get out of something that's not working. Give it a try. I mean, don't just cut and run the second something gets tough, because marriage is work. Everything is work. Friendships are work. Dog parenting is work. I can hear you whining for no reason. He had steak and eggs for breakfast. Anyway, it's work. But if you give it a try and you're like, it's just not hitting, it's not working, get out, man. But these girls I know who did that because they didn't really know what the next step was. And truly, your few years, like the 2 years after you graduate, are kind of the worst of your life. They're really tough because you're comparing yourself infinitely to everyone. It seems like everyone's got a VP position at Goldman Sachs. Like, what does that even mean? Some people are getting married and having babies. Some people are snorting Adderall on the Jersey Shore. Some people are joining the military. Like, everyone's all over the place. And it feels like whatever path you're on, it's the wrong path. And the last thing you want to be asked is like, so what are you doing with your life? And you're like, I don't know, Aunt Barbara. Shut up. But no one asks that of a bride. No one asks that of a pregnant woman, do they? Oh my God, you're a bride, because society celebrates that so hardcore. There's no shower for you getting your first internship. There's no weekend in Miami Beach for when you get that corner office or graduate from medical school. There's not that. Nothing is celebrated with the same rigidity and structure as a wedding. Nothing. Okay? And because of that, we feel so socially insulated. My life has a purpose. My life has direction. Guess what the fuck my life didn't have when I was giving my husband an ultimatum? Purpose and direction. Oh yeah, unmistakable. Not that I didn't love him. I did, to distraction. I love him still. He's the love of my life. But I needed to focus on other things before I could look at our relationship and say, okay, now I don't understand what's working. Maybe we need to bump something up in another category. I thought if I could take all of that energy that I should have been spending getting a YouTube channel going, getting a promotion at Star, doing whatever, quitting, leaving New York City, things that my heart were actually calling out to me to do, maybe we'd still be together. Maybe had I put my attention where it needed to go, instead of starting a fire in another category of my life, things would have worked out a little bit different. Look, there's no such thing as what might have been, and I believe life unfolds the way it should, but that shit keeps me up at night. It does. And I would rather you stay awake at night thinking about the mistakes I made than the mistakes you yourself have made. I am trying to spare you. Only a fool learns from their own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. That's where I'm trying to get you guys. And it's just, as someone who has been married and someone who has a ton of married friends, it's just so funny. And I know so many of you guys are married or in long-term relationships. It's like, you think marriage is like the end, like done. You think that's, do married people seem happy to you? How many do you know? I know a lot, and holy shit, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of problems. And it's this feeling of I'm in this and I can't get out of it. We've done episodes of the show on, is marriage a good thing? What is marriage for anymore? Is it a positive thing, or is it this pressure that is now foisted upon a relationship where it's like, fuck? Whereas like someone like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, who never married, and she always says the secret to their long-term success is that they're not married. She's like, I wake up every day and I choose him. I'm not here because I have to be. I'm not here because there's a contract with the government. I'm here because I want to be. And I want someone who's here with me because they want to be. You don't want to? Bye. There's the door. We'll sort out who owns what Denali later. I want someone who's there, not under duress, but because they want to be. And when I look at this show, The Ultimatum, don't we all come back to the same thing? You shouldn't have to force someone to marry you. You shouldn't have to force someone to be with you. You shouldn't have to put them on television and make them live with somebody else to understand that they've got it pretty good. They should know that. And if they don't, bro, you could put them on 1,000 TV shows. They're not going to appreciate it. I don't know why. I don't know why. Some people simply don't see value. And if that is the case, walk away. So how can we issue a more effective ultimatum? How can we actually do this in a way that gets results, but isn't a demand followed by a threat, which again is one of the 4 horsemen of the divorce apocalypse, because it falls under the category of criticism and contempt. And then of course you get defensive and stonewall, and there we go, riding on in. How can we build a better ultimatum? It's tricky because it's a fine line between speaking your truth and issuing a demand, between sharing with someone a consequence of a chosen behavior and making it sound like a threat. And again, that's not what we're taught to do as women. We're taught to be quiet, quiet, quiet. And then what do? We explode, don't we? She just went crazy. No, bro, she didn't go crazy. She was feeling all of these things. You were gaslighting her. She wasn't in touch with her feelings. It was a perfect storm. And that's why it looked like she just went crazy. You know who does this all the time? I do. I am chill, 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 boom, boom. Because I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I try to be the cool girl. And it actually fucking backfires. And one thing my friends here in Bozeman always try to tell me is like, speak up for yourself when something pisses you off. Now you're probably saying, you have a problem with this, Shallon? The fact that I do means a lot of us probably do, you know? And I'm working on standing up and be like, that actually doesn't work for me. No, that's great that you're 420 friendly and that's in your Tinder bio. That's really not a personality trait. And no, I really don't want to date someone who smokes a lot of weed. Sorry. Oh, I'm a straight edge. I'm a prude. I'm not. But if that's what you want to think, fine. Rather than chill, 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 you're a fucking stoner loser. So how can we do this? Well, first and foremost, we have to know what our parameters are. And we have to know in a very healthy way. If you want to get married, that is valid. That is valid. If you have a timeline for your life and you don't want someone wasting your time, wasting your life because you get one, wasting your fertility, fair, girl, fucking fair. But you have to really be sure that that is truly what you want. Is your career in order? Is your body in order? Are you healthy? Do you have healthy friendships? Do you have a decent relationship with your family, or have you sorted that out and made the healthy separation? Is everything else where it should be? Is your side of the street completely clean? If it is, you have my blessing to really go to someone and be like, look, okay, I don't want to get married because I need to be saved from something, because my career isn't going anywhere, because I don't have anybody else to talk to, and I'm afraid you're going to leave me. So I have this backward idea that a contract with the government will prevent you from ever leaving me and force you to love me for the rest of time. That actually doesn't work. Puts more pressure on things, makes it worse sometimes. I want to get married because I want to have kids by the time I'm 35. And it's important to me to be married. You can think that's stupid, but I don't. And if you do think that's stupid, listen, you are entitled to that. Be honest with me, because then we're just not a fit, Marriage is a partnership, right? Think about a marriage as a business, because it is. It's a contract with the motherfucking government. It is a business transaction. Would you go into business with someone who you actually don't know if they even knew how to do your same business? If they wanted to grow the business, would you open up a restaurant with someone who never worked in a restaurant and didn't really care and didn't like food, and they don't drink wine, but you're making them the sommelier? Would you do that? Well, no, that would be ridiculous. Would you maybe have some honest conversations before you got into that business? Well, yeah. Would you get into the business not knowing who was going to do what around here? Oh, are you cooking? I thought I was cooking. Well, no. You want to? Well, I don't know. Would you do that? No. But you're doing it emotionally. And if you think there's a fallout with a business that goes bad, try a divorce. Try a divorce. Okay? Yeah. Don't recommend it. So if you've got all those ducks in a row, you're allowed to go to someone, and I think the script should go something like this. You know what? I have an idea for my life, the way I want it to go. Not super rigid, because I believe in letting things unfold, but I also believe in data. And I believe you and I have enough data about each other at this point. We've lived together for 2 years. We've been dating for 5. We know each other's family. We know each other. We know everything. And we also know on some level, maybe we don't want to admit to at parties and talk about in the dark of night, whether or not we are compatible, whether or not we are the one for each other. Okay? And I'm not saying that's a conversation we need to have right this second, but that is a conversation we need to have. Because I am looking at planning the next phase of my life, and I want to know who's in it. I want to know who's going to be around. I want to know if we're all on the same page. Your page and my page, there is not one right one and there's not one wrong one. It's just about compatibility. And if we're not on those same pages, we should have that conversation. And we should have it sooner rather than later, because time marches on. We only have one life. I don't want to waste your time and your life and your heart. And I'm sure you don't want to waste mine. And so if we can't get on the same page in a meaningful way, and to me, that is defined as getting engaged, then I think I need to think about moving on. It's not critical. It's not contemptuous, right? These are the 4 horsemen. You're not getting defensive, and you're also not stonewalling. Give me a fucking ring, or I don't want to talk to you until I get one. And no, I'm not talking to you, right? That's stonewalling. Oh, so you don't want to marry me even though I deal with your bitch ass mom. Oh, no, that's fine, but you don't want to marry me. Defensive. Contemptuous. Here we go again. Yeah. No, you just want to keep saving your money. You're looking at their excuses, their reasons for not wanting to get married as excuses. And look, maybe they are, girl, but you're rolling your eyes at them, meeting them with contempt, which if you do feel contemptuously about them, get out. Get out. If you feel like what they're giving you is bullshit and excuses, get the fuck out. Because maybe it is. Then get the fuck out. That is your answer. That is your answer. And you're also not being critical. Okay? You're such a child. You're being so ridiculous. I hate that you're stringing me along. You're approaching them with a neutrality. Hey, this is my truth. Your truth is valid. One of us isn't right and one of us isn't wrong. It's just about, do we fit together in this way? Notice what that ultimatum didn't have. A timeline. Well, Shallon, then it's not really an ultimatum. There was no outward timeline communicated. There needs to be an inward timeline. Set your clock. If he hasn't proposed in 6 months, I'm out. Don't tell him this. Do not tell him this. If he blows it at my birthday party and doesn't show up and doesn't pull up for me on my birthday, I'm dumping him. This doesn't have to be just about marriage. Like, we can have these internal ultimatums, which are also known as boundaries and standards. We are perfectly allowed to have them. I have them all the time. If someone's more than 15 minutes late for a date, I leave. I block them. I don't say a word. I go. That's an ultimatum. And I don't say ahead of the date, by the way, if you're 15 minutes late, I'm fucking leaving. That sounds crazy. It's contemptuous, critical, and I mean, stonewalling. I'm going to block you and I'm going to leave. 4 horsemen. We're right back there. But that is what I do. Okay? You try to Snapchat me at 2 a.m., you up with the dick pic, you are also getting blocked. I have a million ultimatums constantly at play inside my own life that I don't need to communicate. I don't need to communicate. I communicate that I have boundaries and standards with every aspect of my behavior. Every single aspect. And I don't want someone to know exactly where all of them are. I don't want them to get too comfortable. I don't want them to get complacent. Oh, as long as I'm home by 10:59, whatever, she's fine. I can be 16 minutes late. She won't leave. I want to keep you on your toes. You don't know what I'm going to do. Because again, I don't want you to get the message that my love, that my place in your life is unconditional. It's not. It could be taken away at a moment's notice. Why is this an effective strategy? Because men are hunters. A dog doesn't chase a stick that lies there. It chases a ball that bounces away from it. Be the ball. Bounce the fuck out. I'm giving a man a constant hunt inside my life. He doesn't know where that line is, where the boundary is, what the ultimatum is. Oh, fuck. I better just stay on my best behavior. I better communicate. I better show up on time. I better do what I said I was going to do. Because I don't know what she's capable of. Exactly. Issue these ultimatums to yourself. And after you've had that clear conversation, let's say it's about a birthday. My birthday is really important to me. You coming to this party would mean so much. I really want my friends to meet you. That would mean a lot to me. This is not, if you don't come, I'm gonna block your number. You're not taking out your hoops ready to fight. You're saying that, you're communicating what you need, you're communicating the value of their behavior, the value of them plugging in, and you're leaving the rest unsaid. Communication and manipulation is just as much about what we don't say as what we do. I go back to this all the time. Villains in horror movies, they're quiet. Some of them don't even speak at all. Because it's what you don't know that is unnerving. Well, what? A smart man understands that silence is deadly with a woman. No, I'm not going to threaten you into coming. I'm not bullying you into being my date at my birthday, into marrying me. I don't need to. But if you're smart, you're going to know that if you choose a behavior, you choose a consequence. Okay? But look, we got to walk it like we talk it in all other categories of our life. If we put up with shitty friends, if we're shitty to ourselves, we say we're going to work out, we don't. We say we're going to save money, we're blowing it. We say we want to make more money at work, but we're putting in half-assed effort. He's going to look at that ultimatum. He's going to look at any of that and be like, okay, sure, Jan, sure you're going to leave. Who do we have to blame but ourselves? Are we a woman of integrity? Are we a woman of our word? Do we live it like we speak it? I don't know. When we do, ooh, fuck, he's going to get that memo. No, Shallon will leave. Her necklace says ruthless. She sells them. Yes, she does. I don't know that I want to be 20 minutes late for that date. She doesn't seem real elastic in that category. Great. Good. Now we're getting somewhere. You issue that ultimatum to yourself. 6 months, no ring. Birthday party comes and goes. He's not there. Bye. He can't miss you if he hasn't lost you. And a lot of people I know, they do have a breakup with the person they go on to marry because they walked away. It's like, you know what? This hasn't met my standards. I didn't need to sit around and tell them why. I just left. Silence so often is the only thing men hear. And when I release, and I know I've teased it just a little, when I release this course on manipulating and getting your ex-boyfriend back, there is a whole chapter on this about why it's so effective. There's scientific studies and statistics. It's like, it is the foundation, it is the bedrock for everything. Do not be afraid to walk out. If you are, they know. They can smell it. Then nothing means anything. But you know, girl, we got to go back. It's like, do I want to bully someone into marrying me, directly or indirectly? Because when I walk out, like when I've done that, and I use the birthday party thing as an example, because like, it's a special day. And if you can't pull up and if you disappoint me, you're going to disappoint me on a random Tuesday, you know? It's like, I don't go back. I don't go back. It's like, once I see that, I'm not going to waste my energy trying to get my hooks back in you. I'm going to use my energy to find someone who's a better fit, who I don't have to cajole into all these things through various machinations. So, in sum, know why you're issuing an ultimatum. Truly know what's underneath that. Is this the right thing for you? Are you assuming that marriage is going to change everything in a positive way, that is going to give your life meaning and anchor it? It won't. It won't. Not even kids will do that. I mean, it will give your life a lot of meaning. It might not fulfill you 100%. I mean, talk to moms, talk to wives, talk to me. Like, girl, I don't know, man. Then come up with a script that is not defensive, critical, stonewalling, or contemptuous. The 4 horrible horsemen of divorce and heartbreak, okay? Do not give a timeline, and instead give a timeline to yourself. And when that day comes, be ruthless with yourself. Your bags are packed, you're leaving. And if he's like, wait, where are you going? Be like, gaslight him. Gaslight him. Be like, we've talked about this. I told you that I needed to see some meaningful forward motion in this relationship, you know? I'm sorry that your timeline was different than mine. I think you should have probably brought that up. Why are you the only one to bring up a timeline? You know, I got the message that you didn't really feel any exigency here. I have a plan for my life and I would like it to move forward. Ideally, that would be with you. But hey, if you're not on the same page, that's tragic and I'm heartbroken, but we are not on the same page. And I'm walking in the light of the truth of that out the door. Got it? Oh, you fucked up my birthday party? I'm out. I told you it was important to me. Well, you didn't say you were going to block me. No, I didn't. I shouldn't have to. If the only way you show up for me and do something that matters for me is if I issue a threat, I'm not a parole officer. I'm not a terrorist. I don't like threats. I don't want a threat-based relationship. I want a love-based relationship. I want someone who's here because they want to be, not because they're even afraid to lose me, but because they genuinely enjoy being here, whether that's for a birthday party or for a marriage. And if that's not you, okay. I'm not afraid to move on and find someone who is compatible with that. I have a little bit more self-respect. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this show. If there's other topics, can you find a way to make the topic so that I don't have to watch the whole show? I just, you know, sometimes you just like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm really sorry. By the way, the weight loss video is coming on Tuesday. I promise you. I'm filming it tomorrow. Yeah, like I said, come with me to Italy. It's going to be so much fun. I think we also have 1 spot left for Mexico. Mexico actually might be sold out. That's the end of August. If you're craving a warm weather getaway, it's going to be so much fun. And yeah, I'll see you next time, Shalligators.